There are some leaked patch notes about the next update dropping in Marvel Snap. We have some new information about when we can expect that patch and some new information about card acquisition. So if you're ready for all of that, Valley Club, you know what to do. Find that like button. Let's go snap it.
ValleyFlyin.
Hello. What is up, Valley Maniacs? I am ValleyFlyin. Welcome back to the Valley Snap channel. Hopefully your 2023 is starting off with a bang, and we're talking about the next update, or the first update dropping in 2023 for Marvel Snap. Now, if this is your first time on the Valley Snap channel, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Snap content. We have at least 5 Marvel Snap videos per week on this channel to help your Marvel Snap experience. And if you have already subscribed, welcome back to the channel. All right, let's talk about what we can expect from Ben Bro, or when we can expect this update. Ben Bro, the Chief Development Officer at Second Dinner, tweeted yesterday that there's an update coming, or a couple days ago, that the update was supposed to be coming today. Well, he also tweeted that they discovered a last-minute issue with a patch that they were planning to release tomorrow, which was yesterday. It should be delayed, and we'll let you know more details. Shouldn't be longer than a week delay, though. And he also said that he should have known better. Announcing a patch day would jinx it. All right, and these are the leaked patch notes. Now, this does come from a Korean site. It's from a Korean social site that I'm going to post a link for it down below if you want to see it. And these are all translated from Google Translate. So if there's something weird in the translation, that is why. It's from a Korean site. And of course, these are leaked notes, which means that it possibly and probably will go live like this, but there are chances that some of the information that you're going to see here will be changed before it goes live in the game. So with all those caveats in mind, let's get to these patch notes. So the patch highlights, the artist credits. There's a new feature. You can now view the illustrator's information by clicking on the variant name above the card in the collection. I like that. I would like to see all of my collections by a certain artist, and I would like them to add more of these artist credits in there, because I want to see a lot of these art styles. So that's a good, nice feature in the game. Automatically filter the favorite variants you when editing your deck in the collection view. That's one thing. Now there's something in the collection track where you can see all the non-variants. This is what I'm thinking, where you could just see your variants. That would be a cool feature that I'm looking forward to as well. Now section features where multiple cards trigger each is too long. It takes the time to finish the loop. Automatically triggers. I mean, the Wong, Onslaught, Mystique, Ironheart, those sometimes if you notice some of the animations, those take a while. There's also some animations you're talking about from some certain locations like Warrior Falls that are also getting an update, because there's some animations that take a long time. All right, Orca was not added to Series 4 when it was announced. It looks like he's finally being added to Series 4. So if you're wondering where the heck Orca is, well, he wasn't added even though he was announced, but now it looks like he's gonna be finally added. Russian language support. There's also, for new players that wanted to get started right away, they're releasing a Pro Bundle, one-time purchase. It's gonna include 12,500 credits. So that should be a big boost to your collection power. You're gonna get boosters to upgrade 8 common cards to infinity. It's not clear what these boosters are, if they're like general boosters or if they're specific, or they're for specific cards you already have in your collection. And the collector tokens received by collecting all Series 3 cards will change. Individual payouts are set at 400. And that's the way it is right now. Once you're done with Series 3, all the Pool 3 cards, then you're gonna get more collection tokens where you should have received a card in that collection reserve. All right, but currently it's at 400 collector tokens, but now it's gonna be a random number between 200 and 600. However, the token acquisition rate should remain the same. We have more information about that from Ben Bro. Let's go take a look at that. All right, 1 card a month is discouraging. The current card acquisition is very slow. 5.5 thousand a month is very low, even with the proposed random changes to the token amounts, which doesn't change the amount of tokens received per month. Do you think the system is probably suited to keep all players playing? And Ben Bro did respond to this on Twitter early this morning. In the end game, players will be getting an average of 4 new cards per month. As you're free to play, you'll be able to choose whether that's a Series 5 card and the Series 3 cards that have been demoted, or 2 Series 4 cards and the Series 3 cards that have just been demoted. Curious to see how this feels once we get started into that rhythm. I think it's unfortunate right now that most players or most folks aren't able to engage in meaningful ways with the Series 4 and Series 5, and that's something that they're currently discussing. So yeah, it's very, very tough to get Series 4, Series 5 cards, even with those collector tokens at the rate that we're getting these collector tokens. The devs are aware that that's not a great issue to have in the game right now. So hopefully they do something to address this. I know at one point Ben Brode said that as a card was added to Series 5, that would mean cards would be demoted. That hasn't happened yet, but hopefully that is something that they can get into a good rhythm, and it doesn't feel as bad as it is now, because as an early game player, you're getting a lot of these cards, and it slows down significantly as you finish that pool 3. All right, so that is one change that is coming. Not going to receive the amount that you receive overall in the long term, but it could be a positive or negative in the short term. If you're just looking for that few extra tokens for that card that you want, you may have to wait a little longer, because you may get bad RNG. All right, new sounds added to Asgard Daily Bugle, new card sounds for Arrow and Polaris, and visual effects added for Arrow. And there's also some nerfs. They talked about some nerfs that were coming. Well, there's some nerfs that hit. All right, the first one is Arrow. Arrow's going from a 5.8 to a 5.7. The devs comment on this. Arrow's effectiveness is great for both obstruction and control. Previously, we increased Arrow's stats to where it is now, but since players have realized how to use it, we thought it'd be a good idea to lower the power a little bit. I don't think this disrupts Arrow too much. That one power didn't do a lot for Destroy, didn't do a lot for Sarah. I know there's some cases that this is going to be the difference between a win or a loss, but I think the big powerful thing is that control that she brings, bringing all the cards to her. So we'll see how this affects Arrow in the short term. Galactus is going from a 6.3 to a 6.2, and the devs say even the highest rank play decks using Galactus have huge cube gains and win rates. Some decks don't explicitly announce that Galactus will be coming, and there are plenty of support cards that some decks find difficult to counter. We're going to lower Galactus power by once and evaluate if further changes are needed. And I know that for some players this is going to be advantage, because you're not going to have the tempo there, which means that you can Shang-Chi them, but if you have the tempo with that 6.3 instead of the 6.2, they could come back and Shang-Chi you and Enchantress you, other things. So getting this tempo might be a advantage, or it might be a disadvantage. We're gonna have to see. I haven't faced too many Galactus decks, so the big one coming up is Leader. Leader is the big one that people wanted to have change. It's one of the worst defeats when you do everything correct and then you forget to account for Leader right at the end. And what they say, many players are, and that's going from a 6.4 to a 6.3, still going to have all his power. I think a lot of players were hoping he would get that magic treatment, making him a 5-cost card that cannot be played on turn 6. But we'll have to see how big this is. We also have more comments about Ben Brode, from Ben Brode about this effect. Many players are picky about Leader's effectiveness and the ability to stop the game and make it difficult to play other 6-cost cards have often been a mixed bag. We're going to lower the power a bit and see if further modifications are needed. And we do have a response from Ben Brode, and he says there's been some discussion about a card nerf leak where Leader gets a 1 power reduction. There might be some context missing that I want to clear up. Here's a note that I wanted that intended would accompany the change. All right, so what he says, Leader's effect is going to be very frustrating to many players and polarizing in its ability to lock down games when discourage playing some other 6-cost cards. We're taking a bit of power away from him right now and exploring further changes for the card in the future. The last sentence is not intended to mean we may not change him. Again, it's intended to mean we are exactly determining which change is we're intending to make. And there are a few other question and answers that was responded to on Twitter. Stop adding more RNG in chess, 200 to 600 tokens. Why not leave it at 400? And what Ben says is feels metronomic and boring. The end result is the same, but the journey is more fun. So I guess the devs are enjoying more RNG in these boxes and getting that dopamine fixes for their players, that highs and the lows. Is the team current tracking win percent data? I'm assuming so, but can any of that be shared? If not, does Leader's win rate reflect the player's frustration? Yes, we can track a variety of data and triangulate on balance issues. I do not have a hand on it though, sorry. And last but not least, serious question, since you appear to be active, is there any chance to, in the future, to match other CCGs and allow for crafting specific cards that one would need for a deck? The token shop is attempting to get into that space right now. So those are all of his replies so far on Twitter. Let's go back to the rest of the nerfs here as we talk about Nova. He's going from a 1-2 to a 1-1. The dev's comment is Nova's effect is much stronger than other 1-cost cards, so we don't think it was appropriate for Nova to have the average stats of a 1-cost card, and I think that's fine. A lot of times you're destroying a Nova anyway, and I guess this is if you don't get to destroy him, that 1 is going to be what you're going to be left with Nova instead of that 1-2. All right, some buffs though, not all nerfs. We got some buffs here. The first is to Drax. Now the overall effect to Drax is going to be the same if you're guessing right, but it's going to be a little better if you guess wrong. So if your opponent played a card in this zone, it's going to get +4 power. Instead of being a 4-4 cost, now he's going to be a 4-5 card. And if your opponent played card in this zone, instead of giving it +4 power, it's going to give it +3 power. So still going to be effectively a 4-8 card if you're guessing right, but if you guess wrong, going to be a 4-5 card. Groot's going to get that same treatment, currently a 3-3, and if you guess right and opponent play the card in that zone, it's going to be +3 power. That's the way it is now. What it's going to go to is going to go to a 3-4 card, and if your opponent played a card in that zone, going to give it +2 power. So making it a little less feel bad if you guess wrong on this on your Guardians of the Galaxy cards. HAZMAT, that is a card that I'm really enjoying right now. Really fun card if you have Luke Cage in your deck. But what it says is going from a 2-1 to a 2-2. We know there's some powerful looking HAZMAT combo decks, and yes, there are. But HAZMAT's overall performance is not good. So in this update, we want to raise it slightly. So going from a 2-1 to a 2-2, not sure how much effect that's going to be. But we will see on that. Black Cat, a card that I never play, and I think gets its best use in a discard deck. But it's going from a 3-6 to a 3-7. Since Black Cat is rarely used, we want to increase its attractiveness by increasing its power. So this is great for Hella decks or something that when it's discarded, you could bring a card back. Instead of being a 3-6, it's going to be a 3-7 though. When it appears in your hand though, you have to play it or it's going to get discarded. So that's why it has that much power. It doesn't really get played because it gets discarded often. So I think it can be a valuable card in a discard deck and gets a lot of RNG if you're trying to use it outside of that. Nakia, one of the hot cards from that Black Panther season, going from a 3-1 to a 3-2. We think Nakia's effect is an interesting mechanic, but it currently has a very low success rate. And that's because she's going to buff the 2 most left cards in your hand, not in your deck. And it's only 2 cards. We want to buff it up a bit to make it a more attractive option. We'll see if that 1 power does change a lot to that Nakia. We will have to see. I think it could work good in a Silver Surfer deck. Obviously, in that Black Panther deck could work good. But yeah, let me know if you guys are going to start using Nakia now. Zone updates. If there's a Professor X in Oscorp Tower, the cards will not change factions. So that's kind of a weird mechanic. So I'm glad that they're updating that. Updated text for Raft and Vibranium Mine. I'm wondering if there's going to be some overall changes or just to make the text a little cleaner and decrease the chance of Warrior Falls appearing. I guess that's good. Warrior Falls is a tough one. And that was tough when that was a tough location because all the cards are going to fight each other a lot. Now, there's a lot of bug fixes. I'll let you go through these. One of the big ones that we talked about earlier, though, is that when areas such as Warrior Falls and Gamma Labs slow down the game, so it looks like they're addressing a lot of speed issues here, but nothing super big and nothing bad that I see with these bug fixes here. So that is it. That is it with this update. A lot of stuff coming. Looks like it's happening within the next week or so, which means that it could be within by next Tuesday. So hopefully it's later this week, but if not, we should expect a new patch by next Wednesday, or by next Tuesday. So that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was informative to you. We should have another Zabu deck video out later today because there's another Zabu deck that I've been playing with that's been very fun. So hopefully you guys can stick around for that. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Check me out on social media. If you want to support the channel, check out some of the sponsors down below like Amazon Coins and TeePublic, BlueStacks, and check out some of my other videos as well. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. Hulk fist bump. ValleyFlyin out. I'll see you guys next time.